Greetings. This is the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, February the 10th, 2025. This is going to be a big, powerful week of a lot of unexpected change, a lot of shock, surprise. Could be, if it's channeled more properly, breaking through old patterns. The reason is communication Mercury, decision-making Mercury will be in a hard angle to Uranus on Monday. That could mean shocking news, exciting news. It could also trigger a lot of anxiousness and nervousness. And on Tuesday, now the Sun in Aquarius will be squaring Uranus. So it's a day of more disruptive energies, unexpected breakthrough energies. And on Wednesday, the big theme of this week will be the full moon in Leo squaring, forming a 90-degree angle to Uranus. When that could bring a lot of breakthrough energies, a lot of disruptions, rebellion, maybe a lot of shock. But Uranus, if it's channeled effectively, can bring a tremendous amount of insight to really break through stuck energies. Now, before I talk about what's happening each day and get a little further into what signs especially are going to be impacted with this full moon in Leo squaring Uranus. But before I do all of that, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. Now, starting with Monday, February the 10th, I always start with where is the moon? Because the moon represents kind of the tone, the public reactions, and it's in Leo. Leo is a fire sign. It's dynamic, it's dramatic, it's playful. And this moon in Leo is going to be in opposition or confrontation to obsessive controlling Pluto from about early afternoon Pacific time. That could trigger a lot of emotional power struggles, especially as communication, decision-making Mercury will be forming a 90-degree angle to unexpected Uranus. The 90-degree angle is called a square. And so this Mercury could be information, communications, is being stressed by unpredictable, rebellious Uranus. Some of you may be hearing news that could be very upsetting, shocking, and that you have to make all these decisions right away, causing you to be really stressed out. But I always try to look what's positive. How can you channel this energy positive? Because Mercury can be ideas. And with Uranus, you could be thinking out of the box with original ideas. You could be more open to coming up with an invention, just thinking out of the box, being very progressive, looking to the future. Now, that moon opposite Pluto, early afternoon Pacific time, could be some emotional power struggles and endings, especially if you're getting news, Mercury, this unexpected, shocking news from the Uranus. And it might be with a relationship that, because of the moon opposite Pluto, early afternoon Pacific time, you might be hearing very shocking, upsetting news about a relationship that is ending. But later in the day, the moon will be in harmony with Venus, the planet of relationships and cooperation and creativity. Now that'll be in the late afternoon, 5-6 p.m. Pacific time. So after that moon Pluto that could be really shocking the nervous system with a lot of emotional endings and power struggles, it's going to end the day with the moon with Venus, with forgiveness, with more peace, with more cooperation. Now on Tuesday, the moon continues in outgoing dynamic Leo, but now the sun in Aquarius will be forming a 90-degree angle to Uranus. The sun is putting a spotlight on the unpredictable, shocking, rebellious energies of Uranus. This can also be, much like Mercury, discerning Mercury to Uranus, this could be a day, the sun, where there could be exciting news, shocking news, kind of like breaking through old patterns, which takes me to Wednesday, with the moon continuing in Leo, but it's the full moon in Leo, where the moon is at 24 degrees of Leo. There's 30 degrees in each sign. And the full moon is when the moon is opposite the sun. So the sun will be at 24 degrees of Aquarius. And in between the Leo and Aquarius is Taurus, right there in the middle. So the moon is forming a 90-degree angle to Uranus. The sun is forming a 90-degree angle to Uranus. And so it brings to light. It brings everything's emotional, really comes to a head with all this exciting breakthrough energies or this explosive rebellious energies. Now, with some clues could be that the unexpected, shocking, liberating energies of Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus rules the earth. There could be earthquakes, volcanoes, could be very shocking because we're having earthquakes every single day. But Taurus also rules economics, and there might be a big shock to the economies, to the stock market. Now, the signs in general that are going to feel more of this anxious, nervous tension, more of this tremendous stress, would be the Leo, because of the full moon in Leo, Aquarius, because the sun's in Aquarius opposite the Leo moon, Taurus, because this is all funneling through rebellious, disruptive Uranus in Taurus. But Scorpio is the missing sign here, because you got the sun and the moon in opposition, confrontation from Leo to Aquarius, being channeled through the midpoint of Uranus and Taurus. On the opposite side is Scorpio. If you have any any planet's important, but if you have any planet around 23, 24 degrees of Scorpio, then this is forming what we would call that configuration of the full moon would be forming a grand cross to that planet in Scorpio. A grand cross it's like you have a big cross to bear. You might want to turn left and you're being pulled right. You want to move forward, you're being pushed backwards. It's an enormous amount of tension and stress. Now, right after the moon goes full, it's going to then become void. And as I mention every week, the void of course moon is when the moon is changing signs, but it's no longer making aspects to other planets in the solar system. So the activity from the public moon is flat. And when it's flat, it's unproductive. And so the void of course moon in Leo begins at 11:13 a.m. Pacific time through 5:08 p.m., at which point the moon now is moved into a new sign, and it's Virgo. Virgo is earthy, Leo is fiery. Leo can be combustible and explosive with all this full moon to Uranus. But fortunately, soon after the full moon peaks, the moon goes into Virgo. Virgo is very sensible, practical, grounded energies. Now, on Thursday, the moon in analytical, practical, work-oriented Virgo will be in a hard angle, a square, to expansive Jupiter around mid-afternoon Pacific time. Now, Jupiter is the great benefic. It brings opportunities, it brings optimism and luck. But when there's a strong emotional need, the moon is in tension with Jupiter, you may be having overinflated feelings, expectations, and then that can create a downfall. And that could still be from all that anxious nervousness from the Mercury squaring Uranus on Monday, the Sun squaring Uranus on Tuesday, the full moon forming a T-square to Uranus in Taurus. Fortunately, we may still be over these overinflated expectations, but it's only for an hour or two, and the moon is in Virgo, and so we're starting to get more settled, more grounded. On Friday, with the moon in sensible, practical Virgo, it's going to be in opposition to Saturn, restricted Saturn, from about 6, 7, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Moon to Saturn, you might be really worried about loss and separation. You may be really worried about taking on major responsibilities. There's a certain amount of sadness with that moon Saturn, but here's the good news. Later in the mid-afternoon, that Virgo moon, an earth sign, will be in harmony with liberating Uranus in Taurus, an earth sign. So earlier in the day, 6, 7 a.m. Pacific time, the moon Saturn, we may be feeling really limited and blocked and fearing loss. And only, a few hours later is now the moon is in harmony with Uranus. So you're able to have more insight, letting go of all that negative, fearful energies. Moon Uranus, you can break old habits. That Moon Uranus could trigger a lot of exciting new energies. And now we go into Saturday, and the public moon goes into cooperative, harmonious Libra at 3:46 a.m. Pacific time, so it's going to be there throughout the weekend. And so there's a big emotional push, moon in Libra, to socialize, to seek out peace, to be more cooperative. Now, the moon in Libra, an air sign, by mid-morning Pacific time, will be trining or in harmony with powerful obsessive Pluto in Aquarius, an air sign. But the moon will be in harmony with Pluto. You're going to be able to express your feelings, the moon, in a much more profound, deeper way. But you may be wanting to really express your love and appreciation in really heartfelt ways mid-morning Pacific time. By 6, 7 p.m. Pacific time, now the moon in sociable Libra, but it's going to be in confrontation to Venus. Now, Venus is the ruler of Libra. Venus is the planet of relationships, cooperation, sociableness. Now, these two energies, which can, by their own, can be very favorable socially, finding peace and harmony, but they're at cross purposes. So you might be disappointed with what you had social plans, or if you're dating or you're going out to a nice party or a concert, which is entertainment, Venus. That Moon-Venus tension, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time, you might be feeling wanting. It's like, this is not what I was expected. You might be feeling a little disappointed. On Sunday, the moon's continuing in Libra, but in mid-afternoon Pacific time, the moon will be in tension, a square, to warrior Mars. Moon Mars can be emotionally impatient, irritable, anxious. Remember, it only lasts an hour or two mid-afternoon. And with the moon in Libra, there's always this sense of wanting to be the peacemaker, the mediator. Everything's fine, no problems. And then it forms a hard angle to Mars every 7 days. And so all that peace and harmony could just crack, and there could be these impatientness, irritability, arguments. But this too shall pass, because as soon as the fire comes down from the Mars, that moon in Libra is trying really hard to make peace once again. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my new question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next week, be safe and well.